Good afternoon. Welcome in. Happy Thursday, everybody. We are back. Football is back, which I'm super excited about. Obviously, we had week 0 last weekend. I ended up going 2-1 on week 0 betting. I have a 2-unit pending on Clemson on Saturday night. So we'll talk more about obviously the weekend slate tomorrow. But we have several games tonight. So I'm going to be, talking college football for tonight. If you guys have questions on anything, go ahead and ask. Obviously, we have tons of news to go over when it comes to like the NFL as well. So if there's anything specifically that you guys want to hear about, go ahead, drop that in the chat, and I can give my thoughts on it. I'm also doing I have a $300 buy-in draft tonight. So I'm going to pop another stream around 7:30 and we're going to draft that team. So should be another stream tonight around 7:30, $300 buy-in draft. And then we have college football to talk about as well. So apologies for the lack of streams. I don't want to dive too much into it, but I have a, family member in the hospital and kind of been dealing with that. So that's why there's been no streams the last, since late last week, but we're back. Do I know what pick I have? Yes, Mike, it is I think it's 10 teams. I want to say it's 10 teams and I have the 8th pick. So once again, this has kind of been an issue for me. I keep having late picks in every draft. And once again, I've 8th pick in this draft, but that's okay. So we'll stream later. $300 buy-in. We'll go through my draft and give some commentary from there. Genty Brown, yeah, definitely on the horizon. So it's a fun league. It's 10 teams, like I said, and it's DraftKings scoring. So just full PPR with the bonuses that DraftKings has. I might go receiver, running back. I don't know. We'll kind of see. I'll have to see how it fills out. I don't really know how these people draft. I've only played in this league for 1 year. It's kind of like this. It's the same group of guys every year. There's no keepers or anything, but I haven't really. I only played in it last year as the first time, so I don't really know how these people draft. So it's a little bit of a learning curve for me still. We have a new partner, Unabated. So if you guys are unfamiliar with Unabated, I have it shared here on the screen. We're partnered with them through, our data feed side of things. I encourage you guys to go check it out. Super cool website. And instead of me pulling up FanDuel, I'll probably have Unabated on the streams moving forward since we're partnered with them. But this is a super cool website. Gives us the odds from every single book displayed easily here, so you can see. Try to see if there's anything that's like a big difference that sticks out. But it's easy to identify, the differences in the odds across books. So like here in this Oklahoma State game, you can see here if there's differences between some books have 26.5, some have 25.5. So yeah, it's easy to kind of parse through that. But we're going to run through the college games tonight. And like I said, if you have any NFL questions, go ahead and ask. And then tomorrow, we will, have a full stream. Steve's going to come on tomorrow because we weren't able to stream on Wednesday. Also, we're going to be moving the live stream to 4 p.m. daily starting like now. So next week, first week of NFL, it'll be 4 p.m. And then it's just always going to be 4 o'clock. Also, I will go over the NFL content schedule for you guys on Monday. So plan for Monday. We're going to go through the full content schedule, everything that you can expect from me every day for the entire, NFL regular season. Love it. Yeah, this is a really nice tool. And also they have props and stuff as well. The same thing for props. They have all sorts of different tools and stuff that we can kind of dive into, over the course of football season. So I just have the odds pulled up for today. Mitch, what's up? Glad you're in here, Mitchell. Hopefully you're doing well. Obviously excited for football season. Yeah, Joe Mixon. Yeah, that was weird, Guru. I don't know. Sometimes that's how those, like, the front office people just describe things, because I remember I don't know if you remember this, but a few weeks ago, it was like a similar quote around Darnell Mooney. They were like, "Yeah, we'll see about him playing this season." Like they acted like they didn't know if he'd play this season, and then he was like back practicing today. So I don't know. I take that stuff with a grain of salt. It was weird. We do know he's going to miss the first 4 games, and then we'll go from there. Oh yeah, update to the season-long article. I can save it. We could talk about it tonight, I guess. But I wanted to add another player to the My Guys tier. I didn't get a chance to do it. I was dealing with obviously the family stuff going on, but there is someone that I'm going to be adding to that list, and I'm going to draft him. I'm going to try and draft him tonight. We'll see. So I'll save it. We'll talk about it later. We're just going to run through these college games. So first game starts at 5:30. Boise State, South Florida. I do have a play in this game. I like South Florida a little bit here. This line has moved down a ton. So this opened, it was like 8.5. I'm pretty sure 7.5, 8.5, and it's all the way down to 5.5 now. There's a large amount of money, sharp money coming in on South Florida. This isn't even like me backing South Florida. It's kind of just like, I don't know. It's kind of weird, but I like South Florida in this game. Boise State, obviously no Genty. Both these teams have a lot of returning production. Something I like to bet on the first week or two of the season is the teams that have a high amount of returning production. Both of these teams have a lot of guys back. Now, I personally think the quality of the players that South Florida has back is a little bit better than Boise State. Now, Boise State was very good last year. They made, the playoff. So I really can't, say anything bad about that. But they're losing, second place Heisman Ashton Genty. And I don't really think their quarterback, Madsden, is very good. So if you look at his advanced stats, specifically turnover-worthy plays, he was not good. Big time throw to turnover worthy play ratio for Madsden last year was really, really bad. And he kind of got masked because he didn't need to throw a lot. Like, they weren't in situations where they were trying to catch up to teams late and putting a lot on his shoulders. They were able to rely on Ashton Genty, who almost had a Heisman season. And that was that. Can they do that again this year? I don't know. I like Gaines as running back. I'm not saying he's Genty, but I don't think they're going to take the biggest hit in the world in the running game. But I do think Madsden is going to have to do more, and I don't know if I trust him to do that. I'm not the biggest fan of his, and I think that he can get exposed a little bit here. It's a tough game on the road for your first game of the season. So I like South Florida a little bit. I didn't play them on the spread, though, because it kind of came down below that key number. I just sprinkled the money line here for South Florida. I stream exclusively on X. Yeah, so this stream every day goes on the Rolling Insights YouTube. It's on X as well. I'm actually going to be changing it. So right now it goes to the Rolling Insights X account and my X account. We're going to change that, and we're going to pop it every day on YouTube, one of the X channels, and then my personal Twitch. So if you guys follow that Twitch account, go. I think it's Ben Hostler Bets is my Twitch. So go check that out. But we're going to start. I'll put that draft stream tonight on my Twitch, and then we're going to kind of make that switch going forward. Another year to crush. Yeah, I mean, we've done great NFL and college football the last few years, so hopefully we can keep that going. But I do lean South Florida in this game. Bowling Green Lafayette, I don't really care much about this game. I would assume Bowling Green can roll here. Interesting note, though, Eddie George is the coach now for Bowling Green, the former, great running back, Ohio State. Tennessee Titans, NFL, all that stuff. But he is the new Bowling Green head coach, so this will be his first game as coach. So just noteworthy there. But Lafayette is terrible. So Bowling Green should roll. Ohio and Rutgers. I lean Rutgers in this game. This line's been moving too. I mean, you can see there's some 16.5s popping here. It's 15.5 across the board overall. This was a lot lower like a week ago. It's gotten steamed a lot too. I don't like this Ohio team very much, so I would say, Rutgers should roll here. I didn't end up playing it. Oh wait, actually we did. So I took first half. Rutgers first half -7.5. That line's moved a ton. When I took it, it was 7.5 on like DraftKings and 9.5 on FanDuel. I don't know if that's kind of moved up more, but I know it was 8.5 at least on DraftKings. I know that moved a little bit. So I took Rutgers first half, but they should roll here. I like South Florida too. Have them at NC State. Okay. Oh, Ohio State or Texas? Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit more tomorrow, DeJuan. I don't know. I've gone back and forth on that game. I've gone back and forth. Initially I liked Texas, and then the line started to move down a little bit. I don't know. I'm not gonna have a play on that game, I don't think. But I was kind of leaning Texas at first. Nathan, you like Texas? Hate that I'm seeing everyone on it now. Yeah, most of the people I've seen post to play for it have taken Texas. But I would still lean. I don't know. It's tough. I mean, it's not like Ohio State's bad. It's just unknown at the quarterback spot. But the team is good enough that he's not really going to have to do anything. So I don't know. I lean Texas, but I'm not going to have a play on that game. I don't think. I'm just gonna watch. We'll talk more about that game tomorrow, though. Moving down, not playing anything, obviously, on this game. UCF, Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State is terrible, in my opinion, one of the worst teams in the country. So didn't play anything here, but I'd lean UCF big in that one. Wyoming, Akron. This is an interesting one. So I bet Wyoming in this game, and this line has moved against me a ton. I took it at -7. It's down to 4.5 in most places. There's some 5.5s hanging around out there, but yeah, this has just been moving rapidly in favor of Akron. If you guys have followed me for a while, a lot of times in recent seasons, in college anyways, like when lines have moved against us, it's been a good sign. So I'm not scared of it. Both these teams stink, so anything can kind of happen there. But, I live in this area, and we've bet, if you have followed me, like I said, we've bet on Akron a lot. I've seen this movie before. Akron never wins in these spots. They never cover in these spots. Whenever they get line movement in their favor, it never works. So I'm not scared about the line moving. I'm still leaning Wyoming in this one. Now you can make this case for both sides because Wyoming typically, historically, is not very good when you get them away from Laramie, and they're obviously traveling cross country here to play this game in Akron. But I've just seen this too many times before. Akron never wins in this spot. They never cover in the spot. It's just like a tale as old as time. So I'm not worried about it. We'll see what happens. It's two terrible teams, but I'm going to ride with Wyoming in this one. Wyoming, typically they want to run the ball. Where you want to attack Akron is in the secondary. So that's not like a great kind of stylistic matchup. But when we look at, in my opinion, Wyoming's tight end, John Michael Gillenborg, or whatever this guy's name is, I don't know how to pronounce his name. He might be the best player in this game overall, offensively for either team. So if they can try and get him involved, that would, help their case a little bit because you want to attack Akron in the secondary. It's been that way for quite some time. So I took Wyoming -7. It looks terrible because it's all the way down to 4.5, but it is what it is. I'm riding with Wyoming in this one. East Carolina, NC State, did not take anything here. I know Nathan in chat said he liked NC State. I don't have a play on this game, but I wish you well in your endeavors there, Nathan. Hopefully NC State does right by you. Did not play anything in Delaware State, Delaware, but I can just tell you from the quick look at things, Delaware is significantly better. So, I mean, that would tell you why the spread where you can get it's 30.5. I wouldn't really play anything here, but I would lean towards them. Duke and Elon, I want to talk a little bit about. So Duke, obviously, new quarterback situation going on there. I like them in this game to roll, but I really don't want to lay this big of a number on Duke. There's small concerns that they could just kind of run the clock out in the second half. So I do like Duke, the Duke side of this game. If you were to bet it, though, I would probably lean towards an Elon team total under as opposed to betting on Duke to cover 36.5, 37. But Duke should roll in that game. I would be surprised if that game was close. There's been a little bit of action on UT Martin in this one. You can see there's some 25s, 26s out there. Could they keep it close? Maybe. I don't know a ton about them, but I'm not crazy high on Oklahoma State this year. Buffalo, Minnesota. I ended up adding Buffalo this morning. They were at like 18.5, mostly 17.5 out there now. I don't really trust Minnesota personally. I love Darius Taylor, but kind of a weird situation at quarterback, new quarterback for Minnesota. They always start slow. So if you remember, we bet on them early last year in a spot at home. Who did they play? I can't remember. Let me see if I can look this up. Someone in chat might remember what I'm talking about because I know we took them in an early week game last year. I feel like they always start out slow. Let's see. It would have been, it would have been week 1 at home against North Carolina. And they lost by 2 points. And they beat themselves in that one. And I was a little bit high on Brosmer last year. Obviously, they don't have him anymore. So new quarterback stepping in. Buffalo, I've seen some love on them in terms of, max stuff. To me, looking at the teams, Buffalo is like a MAC version of Minnesota. It's like a similar stylistic team. And that's why I think it could be a close game. I don't think there's like a distinct edge in terms of how the teams want to play one way or the other, where Minnesota could like run away from it or something. I think these are similar constructed teams. Minnesota, obviously, just a little bit better version, but I think Buffalo is good enough to keep this close. I think this is going to be a 1-score game late, and hopefully Buffalo can pull out the cover. So I ended up taking them at 17.5. If it moves down again, like you can already see on Fanatics is down to just 17 flat, I wouldn't take it below 17.5. But if you can get that 17.5, I'm comfortable with Buffalo. I think that's going to be a 1-score game late in the fourth, and then see what happens. But I do like Buffalo there. And then the big game of the night, you have Wisconsin, Miami. I didn't take anything here either. Saw a lot of people take Wisconsin. I didn't take anything there. Nebraska, Cincy. Everyone's talking about this game. It's in Arrowhead. Obviously, Nebraska has high hopes this year. I actually like this Nebraska team. I think they're a dark horse to get in the playoff, personally. Similar to what we saw from Indiana last year. Like, I don't think before the season most people would have thought Indiana could get in the playoff. I think Nebraska could fit that mold because we know that the committee will want to put a couple Big 10 teams in there outside of your typical, you have Ohio State, you have Penn State is going to be very good this year, but I could see Nebraska sliding in with an at-large in the playoff if things go correctly. The way I'm going to bet this is I think there's going to be a lot of scoring in this game. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I honestly like Cincinnati more than most people I've seen taking Nebraska in this game. And I think it's a little telling that a majority of the action is going to be on Nebraska here. And that line it was at it's come down a little bit, but it's kind of holding firm at that 6.5. Let me see. I mean, I would guess we have to have close to, we got to be like 80-85% of the bets on Nebraska here. And it's held firm at this 6.5. Honestly, it's moved down a little bit because I'm pretty sure this was juicy. This was like -115, the 6.5. Someone in chat can tell me if I'm wrong there, but I'm pretty sure it was a -115 on the 6.5, and now it's down to just flat -110. There's a -108 out there at DraftKings. There's a -106. But yeah, so I think there's going to be a lot of scoring here. I like Cincy's offense, honestly, and I like Sorsby. I think they could score. And I think Cincinnati's defense is terrible. Nebraska, with Holgerson calling plays, they were much better last year once he took over. Obviously good in the trenches. They've got a good quarterback. They should be able to score, and Cincy should be able to score. So instead of taking the over in the game, because it moved up a little bit, I'm pretty sure, I ended up taking Nebraska's team total over 30.5. They should hit this in the third quarter. I mean, honestly, like if Nebraska doesn't score 34 tonight, there's a problem because Cincy's defense looks pretty bad. So I like this Nebraska team. I didn't really want to lay that 6.5 though, because I think it could get crazy if with high scoring. So I just took the team total over 30.5 and get out of there. So overall, that's my thoughts on tonight's games. South Florida, a little sprinkle on the money line there. I think they could give Boise State some trouble. Love Rutgers. Took them in the first half, but I like Rutgers to comfortably beat Ohio tonight. Bowling Green should have no trouble, but didn't take anything there. In terms of stuff I took, South Florida money line, Rutgers first half. Wyoming got a bad line, but I don't care. And then Nebraska team total over 30.5 and Buffalo plus 17.5. So I ended up having more plays than I wanted tonight. But there was a lot of spots that I liked for it being like the first real night of college football. Overall, though, that's tonight. Tomorrow will be a long stream. We will have college football to talk about. There's some games tomorrow night that I have plays in. So tomorrow night, game stack Nebraska Cincy over NC State ECU. I probably would, Warren, honestly. I think that Cincy can score. I've seen a lot of people take Nebraska and they're just writing off Cincy. I like Cincy's offense a little bit. I think they're going to be able to put some points up. And that total, if you just look at the raw total of the game, it's 51.5. NC State and ECU is higher, right? 61.5. So you got another 10 points. I'm assuming if you're playing DFS, I don't play college DFS. It's not legal in Ohio for whatever reason. But I'm assuming just with a 10-point gap on the total that a lot of people will be looking at that ECU NC State game. So if you want to get different and take some Cincy guys and then Nebraska guys, obviously you have like I've kind of been like I've gone back and forth on the Nebraska weapons. But if you want to be a little bit different, I think you could do that with that discount on the total. I am like a big Dane Key guy. I was, if you guys remember, I don't think this was last year. It would have been the year prior. We hit a nice bet on Dane Key in one of the Kentucky bowl games. When he played for Kentucky, we hit him in a bowl game to score a touchdown at like 2 or 3 to 1, pretty high odds. I like Dane Key. I think he can have a good season with Raiola coming over, from Kentucky. So I'm sure he'll be popular though in DFS. If I had to guess, I don't know. I'd have to go look at the ownership projections. I don't know if I'd sprinkle Cincy money line. I'd probably rather sprinkle Buffalo money line than I would Cincy, just because I told you I think this is gonna be a one-score game, and anything can happen in a one-score game. So this was like 750 earlier. This has come down 680. Let's take a look here. Yeah, this has come down a lot. I saw 720 earlier on FanDuel, so I know that came down a little bit. I'd probably sprinkle Buffalo money line before I would sprinkle Cincy, but I do think there's going to be scoring in that Nebraska game. But like I said, tonight I'm going to stream again, probably in about 3 hours. $300 buy-in fantasy football draft. So we'll go over that tonight. We'll talk some football. The games will be going on, so we'll get some live betting sweats going. Tomorrow we'll talk Friday football for college. We'll talk Saturday's college slate. We'll talk some more NFL, I'm sure. But we got a lot of football to talk about tomorrow. And then Monday, we will go over the NFL in-season content schedule in addition to, recapping the weekend and all that stuff. So glad to be back on stream. Thank you guys for tuning in. Good luck tonight if you're tailing along with any of the bets. And then look for the live stream tonight in about 3 hours, 7:30 Eastern, for our fantasy football draft that I will be covering. Good luck tonight. I'll see you guys in a little bit.